many PCs and this many routers, and it will be a problem. But in the packet tracer you can. So that's why it's good for. Okay, let me delete these devices. I'll select all of them, click delete. So I want to get rid of all of them together. It's one go. Do you want to delete 10 selected items? Yes. Done. Now you can delete more stuff while this is selected and the icon is, you can see that you can delete. I have to press this icon to select. If I want to hub, which is set, there's nothing, no configuration. The switch, if I go to the switch, there is some configuration on the switch that we can do. We can do it in the config mode, which we're not going to do that much, we're not going to do it all, and go to the client, or CLI, command line interface. Now in the CLI, in the CCNA, that's why you have to learn how to do all the configuration. So press enter to see this mode. This is a user mode. Okay, so in the user or exec mode, we can't do that much. There's no many configuration or any configuration that we can do. It's only show or view commands available for it. To go to do the configuration, we have to go to the exec privilege mode. So enable, some people call it enable mode, and from here you can do all the show commands, configuration commands. You are just going inside the router as administrator. So first one is like a user, and this one is like a administrator. Okay, on the router we do the same. So you have to go to the command line to do the configuration. Well, you don't have to, but you will, as a Cisco candidate, CCNA candidate, you have to learn how to do this through the command line. Okay, first, physical. You can see this router has got two interfaces. They are not populated, they are empty. Down here it's got two fast Ethernet. Let me zoom in. Two fast Ethernet interfaces available, a console port and AUX port. We can switch it off, and that's represent the cables. Can't do anything in there. Right, so there's some ports available for us here. The port that we're gonna need, we can cover these ones, or VIC2T, like a wide area network interface card with 2 lines, or AM 1T as well. What we're gonna use mainly is 2T or 1T. I can't put an interface card there because again it has to be switched off. So switch it off and bring one VIC2T. The slot on the right is the first slot, so see that's slot 0. Slot on the left is the second slot, so slot 1. So if you bring the card here on this side, your configuration they have to start with from the slot 1. So I tell my students as well, first thing, put them on slot 0, and then if we need, we populate slot 1 as well. Switch it on. Now the router is on. There's 2 configuration places. One, command line interface. As you can see, it's booting, it's decompressing the image, and it's ready. Now later on I will show you, well, we'll learn how to configure through command line. But for now, let's have a look at this config mode. In this mode, we can change the name first. Display name and the host name. So, for example, display name, let's call it this one, HQ1. Right? That didn't change anything. So here it's great because actually, as we do the commands, it's actually showing them down here. So you can learn them as well if you forgot some commands. The host name, we change that to HQ1. Okay, as you can see that command is run. The display name is just for this here. So there's nothing, doesn't have any effect at all. It's just like a display for this window. The host name is actually it's not going to have a meaning outside the locally, it's only locally significant. So we see the HQ1 for both. There is an NVRAM, so we have a startup configuration and running configuration. Startup configuration, for example, we can save whatever we have saved. Whatever we configured here now, we can save them. So save. So is run this command, copy running config to startup config. That's it. We just saved it. Routing will come back later, and the rep will come back later. So the first thing we're gonna do, I want to configure is this fast Ethernet 00. So fast Ethernet 00. Now, where is fast Ethernet 00? If I just hover above, so first thing I click on the white area here, and I hover above, because if you have something selected, you can't just hover. It won't show you. So you have to deselect, make sure that nothing is selected, and then hover above the cable. And then it will show us what port is it. Okay? Maybe we have put it off. So show animation. Yeah. Let's just see it. Show port. FA00 is here. So let me take it off. I know which one is now. So I'll take it off. If you just hover, it should show anyway. If I just it's not showing now. So fast Ethernet 00, FA00 on this side. So if I want to configure something, it has to be from this configuration. If I configure something, it has to be on this port. Now, because these two are in the same different networks here, different cables, one network on this side and one network on this side, the router is not going to allow us to have the same IP address range on the same network. So for example here 192.168.100.1 and 192.168.100.2, it's in the same network range as 192.168.100.253. So router is not going to allow it. You can have to change that. So for example, let's make this one to 200.253. Okay, so whatever I change there, that's just the display. So I have to go inside the server and change that. So click on this inside the server and click IP configuration, and I want to change this to 200, and this as well, 200. Okay, now go in the router. Well, I click inside and that will open the router. Now this, you can't do that on the real life. In the real life, you need to get a connection or a cable, a console cable, click the laptop, RS232, and then the console cable. But now in the packet tracer, you can just click inside the router, boom, you are inside. Okay, let me delete that console cable. The console cable, we can do it from the PC as well. Same. Just remember, this console cable is not that long, it's a meter and a half maybe. But we can't do a console cable from the server, so server doesn't have that port. Okay, so I'll click inside the router. Inside the router, I'll put an IP addresses here, start configuring. So FA00, which is towards the switch, I have to enable, as I told you earlier, the ports on the router are disabled by default. So I have to enable it. Now shut down command, and then they put the IP address. The IP address was 192.168.100.254, and the subnet is the default. Again, all this stuff, you're either going to learn it later when you studies, or you know it now. So the subnet mask, I'm saying the default. Okay, that's fast Ethernet 00. Fast Ethernet 01, which is next to the server, I have to enable that port and give an IP address. So this was 192.168.200.254 and the default subnet mask. Okay, we are done here. So if you go back here, we can see that everything is green. Now I'm just going to go to the PC and laptop and change the DNS, because since that was the DNS and we changed the IP address there, I have to change it. So go to IP configuration, 200 here, and the PC as well, 200. Okay, so to see if PC can ping the gateway, we can go to the PC, open the command prompt, and say ipconfig first to just check that our configuration is good. 192.168.100.1, 192.168.100.254. So we can check that we can ping our gateway. Ping 192.168.100.254. Right, we have a reply right away. I was expecting one of them to drop, and that's an ARP request. Now, ARP request, you're going to learn it later in your studies. But at the moment, we got a reply from the server, from the gateway, which is everything is good. Laptop, let's see laptop. So go to the command prompt